Very good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Professor Pankaj Sharma, welcome you all on behalf of Sagar Institute of Science, Technology and Engineering, SISTec-E, Ratibad campus. Today, Department of Electrical Engineering, under the flagship of IIC, Institutional Innovation Cell, is going to organize online session on product market fit by expert speaker of the session, Dr. Ashutosh Shukla. He is assistant professor from School of Management Sciences, Varanasi. Dear learners, ladies and gentlemen, for this session, we have joined together with Dr. Ashutosh Shukla, as I said earlier. He is speaker of the session from School of Management Sciences, Varanasi. Dr. Manish Billore, sir, Honorable Principal, SISTec-E, Ratibad campus. Professor Ashish Singhal, sir, President IIC SISTec-E, also HOD Electrical Engineering Department, SISTec-E, Ratibad campus, and Dr. Ayush Srivastava, Area Coordinator, IIC SISTec-E, Ratibad campus. Dear friends, the expert speaker of the day today is Dr. Ashutosh Shukla, sir. Sir is an assistant professor at School of Management Sciences, Varanasi. He holds a PhD in management from BIT Misra, Ranchi, Jharkhand. His research area includes organizational behavior and human resource management. He comes with more than 14 years academics and consulting and has published several research papers in international and national journals of repute. He has also published four books chapters, including one in Springer Nature, Singapore. He has also been a Six Sigma practitioner and organized many workshops in the field of process improvement, system thinking, new ideas for business creation, statistical analysis, and research methodology, both at UG and PG levels. Dr. Shukla has been awarded Doctor of Philosophy in Management, and the topic of research was reinventing organizations by developing a learning model, a case study of IT companies operating in India. Has attended 7 days workshop on quality assurance in higher education systems, revised NAC framework, attended 7 days workshop on discovering statistics through Excel organized by School of Management Sciences, Varanasi, FDP equipment for multiple management in academia, presented a paper titled Karma Yoga and Leadership Lessons in Bhagavad Gita in international conference organized by School of Management Sciences, Varanasi. Has also organized 7 days online workshop for UGC, NET, JRF. It is my honor now to call upon on this online session Honorable Principal Sir to welcome him and to formally announce to open this online session. Over to you, Honorable Principal Sir, Dr. Manish Bulere Sir. Sir, over to you, please.
Thank you, Pankaj sir. And I can clearly see and observe that summer has really started. So I think you should get a fan for yourself so that you can be comfortable. And welcome, Dr. Ashutosh Shukla, to SISTec.
Thank you,
And
sir.
it's been nice to meet you on a couple of occasions. I'm sure you're going to be
Yeah.
a good motivator, a good mentor for students at SISTec. So I'll request the department and our faculty colleagues to keep in touch with you. I can say that you will definitely be able to share a lot of insights for the development of SISTec.
Thank
Again,
you.
yeah, Pankaj sir, now it's better. So you have befitted yourself, you have adjusted yourself according to the situation. So that's the first example of product market mix. So according to the market, you have adjusted yourself.
Okay.
So again, my congratulations to the entire organizing team for choosing this topic. There are a lot of situations these days wherein you need to find out the best fit. So if you find the best fit, perhaps you are the winner already. So I'm told
Mhm.
that yesterday we were having a session on electrical vehicles batteries. So I came to know that there are a lot of factories in India, outside India, who have not even set up their manufacturing plant, and they have decided to manufacture battery uh, for electrical vehicles, and they are booked for 3 years. So their entire production for next 3 years is already booked. So that's one of the best examples of product market fix. So they have found out a product which is best suited for the market for the next 3 years, and perhaps they won't be able to, rather they won't be required to recruit a marketing manager for themselves. So these kind of examples are very relevant, and the only requirement is that our students must realize, our students must take due signals and indications from the outside world, and they can rather they should be able to develop themselves according to the market needs. So for the market, engineering student is also a product. So if the product is made, of course, with our help, with the help of our grooming, our training, our mentoring and all, but if the student is developed and prepared as a product for the market, then perhaps there will be a good fit, and there won't be much struggle for the placement or entrepreneurship or higher studies as such.
Mhm.
So again, my congratulations and best wishes for the team to select this good session, the topic of the session, and also the expert for today. Uh, I hope we are going to have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of wisdom and to encouraging us for such kind of sessions. Now, before I hand over this online session to the expert speaker of the day, I would like to request and invite the president of IIC SISTec-E, Professor Ashish Kumar Singhal, sir, and he is also the HOD of Electrical Engineering Department. Over to you, sir, Ashish Singhal, sir.
Thank you, Pankaj sir. First of all, very good afternoon to all. Honorable Principal sir, respected Dr. Ashutosh Shukla sir, and my entire team of the SISTec-E IIC. First of all, I want to talk about the some major focus of the IIC, why the IIC is important to the colleges. As we all know that the IIC is basically to create the vibrant local innovations ecosystems in the college itself. And they are also promoting the activity like the startup supporting mechanism. They are promoting the scouting ideas and also the pre-incubation ideas. As we are having a global leadership, they also developing themselves in the field of the cognitive ability. So these are the major focus of the IIC why which student can develop themselves. Now I'm really happy because this is the right time to understand the how my product can be fit to the market. So I
Mhm.
think the student definitely can understand by this particular session then what is the basically difference between the consumer demand and the consumer desire. This is a very basically important how to understand these two things and what are the differences between them. I am definitely my student will be able to understand by this after this session that what is a market demand analysis and how we'll do it. And
Mhm.
after this, they can go for the conclusion of marketing demand. So
Mhm.
I'm very happy and definitely I would not waste a single minute because I'm very enthusiastic and desire to listen these particular things and very new to my students and
Mhm.
definitely new to us also. So thank you so much, Pankaj sir, and my dear students, please learning enhance your learning as much as possible. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your wisdom. Agreeing 100% with your words that we must not wait a single minute to start this journey of learning. Dear students, let us join together to learn new things about these online session topics. Over to you, Ashutosh Shukla, sir.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Principal, sir, respected Singhal, sir, Sharma, sir, and Ayush Srivastav, sir. Uh, Thank you for inviting me for giving my deliberations on problem solution fit and product market fit. And I will try to match up to the concept, and this is an emerging ideas. So let's get into it. Let's try to look into that how this session is going to help you, the students especially, who are aiming, aspiring to become the entrepreneurs, or they are trying to achieve something, reinvent or creating something new. So let's start this. Uh, I think I must share my file this. Yes. So this is the topic which we are trying to going ahead with, which is achieving problem solution fit and product market fit. And let's look into it, like how this thing is. This is the way I have structured my presentation, that we'll start with problem solution fit and why is it important to discuss problem solution fit, right? And we will take up some examples and we will try to learn the phases of problem solution fit and market and product market fit in product life cycle. And I'll also take up, definitely the main core area is to discuss about product market fit, the product market fit pyramid, and some of the key ways to understand, some of the ways to explore this topic. So before I should go ahead with, uh, let's talk about yes. So chicken and egg riddle is something which came appeared first. That's not the problem here, because we always know that uh, you have some problem to be addressed, right? So you have problem first and then you look out for some solution. Okay. So that is something which we have to understand, like you do not invent a solution and then you go back looking out for some problem. There has to be some problem which requires an addressal, and there is nothing like inventing solutions for unknown problems. So this is something which that is the core thing to appreciate. Anything we are trying to build up on product market fit, we first have to go through, begin our journey from problem solution fit. And there is a reason, very valid reasons, when people are, when especially the entrepreneurs, they are in deep love with their ideas. And and that happens with eyes. You see, eyes cannot see themselves. Through eyes you can see others. So it becomes little difficult sometimes to be critical, to critically evaluate your own point, your own ideas. And this is where entrepreneurs fail to see sometimes. And they fail to see if their offering is the right answer to an implicit or explicit human or societal need. This is the beginning of the whole thing of what we are going to discuss. This is where I have seen it. I mean, if you go to refer to different journals of entrepreneurship, you will find it that this thing keeps on. It is a repetitive observation where even entrepreneurs say, like, I have to educate my customers about using this product. Well, it means somewhere, why is there a need to educate them? Is there a need to educate them? Are you not addressing some kind of solution? Some Are you not addressing some kind of problem which exists? So this is the something which one has to see, and especially in entrepreneurship, one has to see that you are offering a solution. So when we go ahead with this, we do not want to. What we do not want is to do is to build a solution first and then you search for a problem. That, like I said, and many of the entrepreneurs do have great ideas, but the question is whether their offerings are much needed answer to the problems faced by their customers. So something, your customers, there are certain underserved needs. Understand that, we have to understand that there are always some gaps into products, some gaps into offering. and we have to very we have to be creative enough to see those gaps, and then we have to address those things. No competitor or nobody has done it that way. If you are just able to build that product, build that great idea, I guess that is the right way to start your journey towards creating a successful product or so getting it, like identifying an existing problem and to solve it in with a solution that customers find useful and satisfying. So this is this is at the heart of the thing which we are trying to discuss today. So how sure we are at identifying a problem? Number one, so problem identification is something, and how sure we are that the solution which we are proposing or offering is the right solution. Okay? So this is where we have to see that that is why this concept of fit, problem solution fit, right? So isn't it, we have to reevaluate, we have to recheck the whole exercise. Are we not offering a wrong solution, or maybe a partial solution, a solution which is not solving the problem, or which is even creating more problems? Sometimes it happens. So we have to go ahead with this. And then if there is a whatever the problem is, you can take any examples. I have purposefully taken few to mention, to just to show you that how these things actually work in the real life, in real world situation. uh, we have a product which is recently being it is a very successful product, Grammarly. And it is a something which is uh, majority of people across the globe, their language, then they communicate, the business language, the language of business is English. So, and then it is a very common thing to be understood, like people, uh, nobody is expert at grammar, and especially if the language is the second language, or maybe not the language of the, not the native language, then there could be some issues with grammar. And which businessman or who would like to weak his or her communication? Everyone wishes that their communication should be seamless, should be perfect, there shouldn't be any errors, because it is all about impression. Ultimately, you are communicating your ideas, and if there are errors, it is not that impactful. Then communication, if you see, the aim of communication is to persuade, is to pursue a person, to persuade and to inform someone. So that is where these two guys at Grammarly, those who started this venture, they observed that yes, this is the right thing to be addressed. This is a problem. There is a problem when people write mails, they are not sure that whether they have written it correctly or not. And who is the editor? Who will get into this editing exercise all the time? And it is not just about grammar, it is also about making your communication more impactful or more impactful. So for that, they tailored it that way. They took up those things and they build it into a software, like this is what the laws are. So this is how it is. So same thing happened with search engine Google. So all these things, why I'm trying to say, like search is a deep thing. This was the statement by Larry Page, and he said this long back, and he said that we just said it's search, but search is such a deep thing. Everyone is searching something or the other. So how sure you are what you are searching, and the moment you type something on Google, it is just giving you just that what you are looking for, right? So maybe you just type yellow, it means so many things. It means a color. It could be a color of car. It could be sunflower. It could be anything. So how there is a possibility to customize, there is a high degree of personalization to it. There is something to be addressed. So making a search engine is not that easy. It is just not like just writing some codes and then you are able to deliver it, because search is such a deep thing. There will always be gap, what you are looking for and what you actually get. So that is how we I'm trying to say that this is the way you start building up, like let's look out for some kind of solution to a problem which exists in a society. Talk about mobile wallets and all, Paytm, if you talk about, yes, it is something which is very it is a kind of problem which was faced. I mean, implicitly, if you see, if you talk about our country, when this thing conceptualized that issued the Paytm came into existence, it was the thing which they are trying to address, that there is no need to carry cash, you can do it through digital means. So and then there is a whole lot of ecosystem. Technology is such that it builds on and it takes you further. There is no way to go back, right? So as you move ahead, you keep looking out for those gaps and build products, right? So maybe that time people were not able to realize that what is the idea, what is how is it going to take up. So and similar is the case with electric cycles. So there is nothing like that there is the perfect product or the perfect offering. You just have to research a bit, that where competitors or where the deficiencies are still lying, and from there you build up your journey. Because any incubation center has this thing that they have they have ideas at place, and there is they have to build a prototype, and then they have to go ahead with minimum viable product, MVP. So even before coming up to this developing prototype or MVP, there is a whole lot of homework, because homework is problem solution fit, right? If you falter here, then where is there then why then there is no need to even to discuss about product market fit. Because ultimately, if that is why we have to understand the relation between the two, problem solution fit, and then we can talk about product market fit. So sometimes the solutions are very are the right solution, you are able to execute it, you are able to deliver it, but the problem is that it fails to uh, create an impact into the market which you are trying to serve, and that is where the question of product market fit comes into. So uh, so let's look at this. If and every other product life cycle will follow through these stages would be there, but not product life cycle would exactly look like the way it is being portrayed. But yes, to have you just to make you aware that these are the phases through which every product passes through. There is an introduction phase, growth phase, maturity phase, and decline phase. So where if you could follow, you have this on y-axis you have sales, on x-axis you have time. So even before the introduction of product into the market, you have this phase of problem solution fit. So as you can see in the elliptical circle, problem solution fit, it is it is before you actually introduce your product, and then you see that, and even in this introduction phase you have this product market fit, and then you move to scale, you move to maturity, and you decline and decline successively. So this is where we are our whole this session of discussion rests on discussing the first two aspects, which is problem solution fit and product market fit. Okay, so this is something which we have to look it into in terms of process. So whatever, if you can see, these and the ellipses are processes. So processes takes you, process is a journey, right? You move from one milestone to another, and then you say that you tend to do a little more research into it, that have you understood the problem rightly, right? And once you have uh, make some sense of yes, this is a problem, then you articulate, then you provide some kind of solution. And that solution, we should call it the way we call it in research as hypothesis. It is hypothesis, it is not hyperthesis. It is right. So hypo means it less, thesis means a statement, less intense statement. So you, I'm not sure what, I am just proposing it. This could be a solution. Okay, so collect more data, test your solution, and then there should be this, as you can see, there is a decision block which says you have to take. So whether, if multiple users validate, confirm with the same problem, yeah, this is the hypothesis, I think this is the solution, I think is a good uh, convergence, if there is, people are repeatedly confirming to what you are suggesting, then you can actually move from this stage to POC, which is actually a proof of concept. So articulating solution hypothesis, if there is, if people differ in their views, you can again go back to this thing, which is a milestone of articulating solution hypothesis, rephrase your hypothesis, come up with some better solution. Then you move ahead with this, developing a proof of concept. And how would you develop a proof of concept? Again, the concept is testing. So testing is the key word. Testing, testing, retesting. That is what we have to do. So testing is, do multiple users validate your POC? That is what we have to understand. That we have uh, come up with some idea, we have come up with some solution. This is how we want to get it delivered. Do you agree? Do you see point into my argument? And do you see that yes, this is the way that we could address it? And then you move into, this is the life cycle. So from here, problem identification to POC, developing a prototype, and then you test your prototype with users and to arrive at minimum viable product. So as you could see, from problem identification to developing a minimum viable product, this is your problem solution fit. So the zone is here. And then you eventually move into this phase of product market fit, where you have to talk about product language fit, product channel fit, optimization, funnel optimization, and then you have this mature product. So we will take up this thing. So the whole idea is to make you understand that there are sequences. There is a sequence to this thing. You do not directly arrive at product market fit. You first try to go ahead with this and see, there is a reason, though the topic today is product market fit, but I am taking a lot of time discussing this problem solution fit, because the research says that most of the time the problem is with this. If you are able to create the right solution, and then definitely rest assured there wouldn't be any product market fit, right? So if the problem lies here, you cannot address it right here. Let's try to understand this, right? So problem solution fit. Okay. um, so this is how we define, when we talk about product market fit, we talk about, it describes a scenario in which companies' target customers are buying, using, and telling others about the company's product in numbers, right? So basically, if you talk about, if you follow this definition, there are certain things to be uh, to be focused, or to emphasize upon. Number one is target customers. So you have to segmentize your product. You have to understand that who ultimately is going to be your customer. So have you done that segmentation? Have you Have you identified your customers properly? And targeting customers, and they are buying it, they are using it, and they are spreading the word. So they are happy with your product, and that is how they are going to refer that product to others, and to an extent that it will become large enough to sustain the product's growth and profitability. uh, the number connection, if you can recollect, just I will just take a pause and think about maybe some years ago, 5 6 years ago, when WhatsApp was introduced. So how WhatsApp became very very popular, right? So the initially the target customers, the people who wish to, I mean, yes, there were social media platforms, there were different things. You could see there is always a system. Technology evolves that way, but uh, that is how it builds. That you use it, and then, hey, have are you there on WhatsApp? Are you there on WhatsApp? So people start making groups. So they used to. So this is how this. There is a target customer. There is a need to communicate, and people are constantly referring others, adding more and more numbers, and that is leading to products growth and profitability. So Mac Andreessen, who actually created this term, uh, it means, he says, product market fit means finding a good market with a product capable of satisfying that market. So you find a good market, and you build a good product. There has to be, it should satisfy the market. The market has expectations. Ultimately, the expectation is that of people, the demand, right? So we will look into it, because demand is a very word which has to be taken with due respect, with due care, when you are talking about it, especially in economics and business. So uh, this is very interesting. Like, we have these three terms to actually reflect upon: uh, feasibility, desirability, and viability. So always we have to. Uh, this is a very nice way to actually look out for whether your product market fit is happening or not. I mean, this is a simple yardstick. Is there a way to assess it? Yes, there are different ways. There are different ways, and there are ways which are emerging. There are matrices uh, through which you can make more informed choices about whether that product market fit is happening or not. But yes, this is one of the ideas. Like, feasibility is that a product that you have been able to actually build that properly solves the problem. So something to do with your problem solution fit is about feasibility. And then you look out for desirability, right? That product is going to be launched, whether large market of people who are really interested, who really need this problem to be solved. So yes, it is a very quantitative in this term, right? You have this idea, and then how this idea is going to change a lot of people's life. Something which they are deeply desire, they want it to be delivered, but they are yet to get it. So desirability should be there, feasibility, desirability, and then about viability. That is about your the business model which you are going to subscribe, which can make the company real money. That is, which will ensure that your product hits the market, and you are able to move up in the product life cycle, and your sales continue to happen, and you do not find uh, like there would be some phase that it has shoot up, and then there is all everything is gone. So viability is very 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 important. Let me take you to an example through this. Um I am sure, um, uh, and especially the students, and being an academicians and everyone, we have this concept of Tata Nano. And Tata Nano, when this concept was came into when Ratan Tata himself visualized this, you must be aware of the story behind it. He saw that family of two, three people. They were on the streets of Mumbai. It was raining, and that man was simply standing in the under the shelter, bus shelter, and he was just waiting for the rain to stop because there were three, four people, and all that he has is a bike. So he was not able to. He just thought that if this man today could have this some offering, some car, he could have be at his place. That was the dream. That thing. It came into his mind. So feasibility. He actually he revamped everything. I mean, it was it was the one single initiative which made Tata into one of the most creative companies. I think that the same year the Tata was called the sixth most innovative company in the world through this initiative. But just by doing this, you can just go and refer to some of the case studies. So if you see the feasibility, the whole value chain, and then he said that there would be people would desire, people would, there were so many beautiful reports coming in his that way. Yes, if it is all about the concept of affordability, not everybody could afford a car. So he made this announcement like we are going to create a vehicle which will cost you 1 lakh rupees, and the idea was that there would be a definitely there is a momentum in the market and they would be able to sell it in huge numbers, and uh, and the business model based every business model has certain assumptions to it down the line, and then you talk about then you move to this circle viability, and this is where uh, Tata failed. This viability, a confirmed business model that can make the company real money. I will tell you how this thing that it was feasible and it was viable. It did not pick up that way, right? It was, I mean, there is whole lot of people who think it that way, but whether that product market fit, why market rejected that product, right? So if, and there are case studies if you could follow, if you want to look into why Tata Nano failed to make that made that impact, you will see that there was some kind of marketing lacuna, and this is where this thing, if you the message which you send to your customers is something which speaks volumes, how they are going to relate with your product. Understand, this is very very important. Your message speaks volume, right? I remember watching this movie Ford versus Ferrari. What was the whole idea? Lee Iacocca was discussing with the chief executive of Ford, and he was telling this that there is no car which could compete with Ferrari. And the CEO was telling this, "Ki, what are you talking about? Ferrari is such a small company. They are able to build the numbers which we are creating more cars per day, which they fail to make. Even they make they take whole years to produce the number of cars we are making it in a day. So what are you talking about?" So he said it is not like what Ferrari, at the end of the day, Ferrari means winning, and every person wants himself or herself to emerge as a winner. And this is the idea, that we should have our own car. The Ford should come up with such kind of car. That, so the message is not like you are not selling car, you are just, you are making your customer feel win, you are making your customers winners at the end of the day, and this is where the whole game started. So instead of everything, the whole value, it has simply made a lot of brought beautiful improvements into value proposition, and the whole value chain, uh, the concept of Tata Nano. Let's coming back to the same thing, but the marketing angle, on the marketing angle, if you keeps telling people that it is a low cost car, laktakia, this thing came, this thing prevented people. They said that, oh, it is going to be some kind of cheap car. Is it going to be that? So understand your market. You have to understand this behavior. So somewhere your marketing, your communication is is very very important. How you are telling to your customers and how is it going to solve. So this is where we have to see that even the best of the companies, despite of every best people in their team, they fail to see, right? So that is why this concept is so important, that product market fit, what kind of communication we are making, what is our business model, what are the assumptions which we are making, um, and things should synchronize. If they are not, then there is going to be a difficulty. So this is a typical product market fit pyramid, and we call it, we as we said that it just all starts with the as you can see there are 5 layers to it, and the bottom thing represents market, which is where your target customer is at the basis, and then your underserved needs uh, of the market, and then you have your product, which value proposition, feature set, and users experience, UX. So how you are going to uh, match this is where so so once you will talk about MVP. What are the steps involved? I have they definitely there are a lot many steps. No, no. Once you have your MVP prototype ready, it's time to test it with your customer. So as I said in the one of the earlier slides about the phase, uh, that how you move from process problem solution fit to product market fit. You have this you have this MVP ready. So once your minimum viable product prototype is ready, it is the time to test with customers. It is important in this step to ensure the people from whom you are soliciting feedback are in your target market, right? So if you ask the right question from wrong individual, what you will get is wrong direction. Okay? So that is not the thing which you want it to happen, right? So that is why it is very very important that you are reaching the right set of customers, right? So product market fit is something you have to build that MVP, and then you have to do not settle on it and continue with taking feedback, and are taken care of, right? So those things matters. And how you are going to get it, you should start with a screener, a short survey, to ensure research participants have the attributes of your target customers. You schedule time once you attain, so a short survey, and then you schedule time to speak with each customers one on one. Yes, it is a time taking thing. You have to be, you simply cannot rely on some you say pre-framed questionnaires with open-ended questionnaires. Open and sorry, close-ended questionnaire. Close-ended questionnaire will take you only to a certain level, right? But the real objective is to uh, understand your customer first. So gaining a deeper insights into it, you have to uh, um, go ahead with. You have to come up with maybe um, an open-ended questionnaire, right? An open-ended questionnaire would allow your customers to speak volumes, and you have to. So this is where you have to move from totally a quantitative framework to a qualitative framework where content analysis, and there are different methods you can adopt. So, and in today's time, it is we have very powerful software even to do qualitative analysis. So that is the mode that you should talk to your customers, ask them that what they are finding, how they are finding the product, and don't supply any answer from your side. What is this thing called, this is called non-leading, right? Leading question would be, if you say, that was easy, wasn't it? It was amazing. Huh? Did you find it beautiful? Nice. So why do you think that the person should say yes or no, right? Why you are trying to condition the mind of your customers? Don't condition it. Just ask them what they feel. They want to express their opinions. Don't give, just don't give any kind of, just ask questions and nothing beyond. Don't give any kind of leading questions, because there would be then chances of biasness will come. And this is what in any scientific inquiry, in any kind of thing, decision making, informed decision making, you do not want biases, the role of biases to play and take you to lead, take you to the into the wrong direction. So that is why non-leading questions are important. A good interviewer will also avoid asking such close-ended question like, do you like that feature? Why there is a use to mandate a yes or no response, right? And open-ended question is the right way. Non-leading open-ended questions give customers latitude in their answers and also encourage them to tell you more. So this is where you have to find out. So product market fit, when we are talking about, it is actually a journey from uh, finding a problem solution fit and all the way to developing uh, a minimum viable product, and from minimum viable product to um, asking customers that is there any deficiency, is what is their experience, how they are. Because if you remember the pyramid we are talking about, the apex of pyramid is users experience, user matters. And how would you like to gaze an experience through close-ended questions? It should not be like that way. So definitely there is the qualitative techniques becomes equally important, and on the quantitative side as well. uh, there are certain quantitative measures. I would not take each measures in length. I will just take one of them to discuss. There are this NPS score, Net Promoter Score, churn rate, average subscription length, and customers lifetime value. So when you say this Net Promoter Score, what I mean, uh, we have, if you could classify your customers into this from, if you could see this, I have if you could see this scale, suppose you are to rate a product. Essentially, it is an index ranging from minus 100 to 100. Minus 100 to 100. This is minus has to be here. That measures the willingness of customer to recommend a company's product or service to others. So how likely a customer is to recommend the product to his or her in his group, or to his friends or different people. This is what NPS score is all about. So it tries to, when your customer rates, and then you say that okay, there is a rating you have to do. So from, it is not likely, so 0 to 6 is not likely, 7 to 8 somebody is giving, then you can take it as passives. And if there is a strong chance like 9 to 10, then they are promoters. So people who have really uh, are satisfied with your product, they are definitely going to rate you as 9 or 10 on it. And you are asking them, what you are asking that how likely they are to, what is their willingness to recommend this product to someone else. So this is a clear cut On the other hand, you have detractors who are not going to forget about that, they are going to refer it to someone else. They did not like it. And then there are passives who are not sure that whether they are they could be always jump to competitors are offering, if right. So we do not consider passives into this while calculating NPS score. We simply take two things, promoters and detractors. And what we compute at the end of the day, we compute the difference between promoters percentage and detractors percentage. So if you are, just say, like 100 people, you have figured it out, and then let's say very ideal situation, 51 or 52 are promoters, rest are detractors, no passive, then you could simply say that the score is 52 minus 50, which is 2. Any score greater than 0 is considered good. And we are subtracting percentages. Same market, same people, right? So if your score is greater than 50, it is considered to be great. So if your NPS score, so when people will come up with evaluating your product, that okay, here you go with an idea, how likely this product, why should I fund your initiative? They show me your NPS score. So NPS score is this. So if it is greater than 0, it has to be greater than 0 for something to be something that, yes, any score which is above 70 is considered exceptional. So this is one of the quantitative measures. And likewise, you have churn rate, and you have average subscription length, how likely people are going to stay with your product. Churn rate, how many on an average, how many people actually leave, stop using your product. So because if you could remember that rebuying, you stay with the company, you continue with your rebuying thing, and you create that lifetime value. And lifetime value is the total amount of money that you can expect from each of your customers throughout their time with your product. So this is how these are some of the matrices which are meant to help you out taking decisions. You have some quantitative information, as I said. They are these things you can readily you can these data could be obtained easily. But the qualitative part, you have to do a thorough analysis, what content analysis, and then you have to see that what customer actually wants. So having said this, uh, there are three things to be especially focusing to be taken due care of, and those are: change your messaging, change your pricing, and change your value proposition, right? So why this thing, three things to change, why this slide is existing in this presentation? Because many a times it is to do with the way you are interacting or communicating to your customers. Are you sending the right message? So as I said, in the case of Tata Nano, same thing happened. The problem happened that way. If your messaging is missing the mark, then people don't have the right perception of your product. You have to build a right perception of your product. and and you have to continuously, you cannot discount on research part. The better you are at this thing, rest assured things would be taken care of. You need to reshape the story of your product message is telling, and then that is what you have to do it. So change your messaging. And sometimes if there is a time phase, you have to be very sure of that. Okay, is my message the way I want to build it, right? And then there could be uh, something related with pricing. Your pricing and packaging are key drivers in making sure a product and buyers are in line. So they are coming to you. They are not going elsewhere. So pricing is an important consideration. Values, your value proposition is the heart of your product. How you are going to make your customers delight. Uh, Change up your value proposition. You have to change it that way also. So ultimately, because creating a wonderful product is one thing, and marketing it so that it reaches the target customers, and that is the second side of the story, that is the remaining side of the story. And this is where you have to be very, very sure of that what is your value proposition, what you are. And sometimes your value propositions could be exactly the one which value proposition. You are altering on your messaging part, your problem with, there could be problem with pricing. So and in this world, when competition is intense, nobody, no company could think in terms of that, okay, I am such a company, why should I think bother of competition? I ultimately I am a global player. So these things see that who all are your customers, and the some same thing, as you can see, relate, you could relate it with, right now there are so many OTT. There was an article which was depicting the story that is yet to, Netflix is struggling with the competitions, the intense competition they are getting in India. You have different Sony Live, you have Amazon Prime Videos, and so they ultimately have to work that way, changing their pricing strategy and messaging. Your value proposition has to do with coming up with a better propositions of entertainment or knowledge, something which you have to do it differently from your customers, that sets you miles apart, miles ahead of your competition. So this is something which I want to communicate today, and I would happily like to ask you, if you have any questions you can ask. um,
Thank you so much, sir. I have actually questions coming from audience or students.
mhm,
The first question is coming, I've actually posted in the private chat. The question
mhm.
is how to avoid getting ourselves deviated from product making while thinking of whether it would be fit or unfit as per market demand.
Sorry, how to uh, come
How
again,
to
sir?
avoid getting ourselves, I'm repeating this question.
Uh-huh.
How to avoid getting ourselves deviated from
Hmm.
product making while
Hmm.
thinking of whether it would be fit or unfit as per market demand.
Right. So as we have said it, whether we are building a right product or not. So market, like, first thing first. First, reassure yourself that your product is, think from the perspective of problem solution fit first, right? That you are building, you are actually trying to solve a problem. For example, let me give you an example. uh, if you could see the modern e-rickshaws, and e-rickshaws are something which is very, very recent. They were no, I mean, if you talk about 5 years back, there were no e-rickshaws. Now e-rickshaws are gaining grounds everywhere. Every small town, big town, you will see e-rickshaws. The problem with e-rickshaws, if which I'm sure every one of us have been experienced sitting on an e-rickshaw, and something which is to do with engineering, right? There is, as you can make a difference while sitting in a diesel powered auto rickshaw and uh, uh, LPG powered auto rickshaw. You, what is the difference which you feel? You feel that there is less knocking, there is less there, it is more comfortable. right? Your LPG powered auto rickshaw is very, very comfortable, right? It shakes less, whereas the diesel powered is shakes a lot. So on the similar lines, if you talk about the suspension, the way it is designed, there are there could be, there is a huge scope to improvise, to make the customers have a better experience, a better riding experience. And this thing could be done only by better design, something to be, something where problem solution fit is coming into picture, something where differentiation is coming into picture. Even in more comfortable by definitely there is, you have this product, this product is running, but yes, there are imperfections to it, there is always a scope of improving it, improving on it. So this is where, so deviation, how to keep ourselves away from deviation? First identify that problem, that this is what the problem is, that problem is that I have to make it less shaky, I have to make it better, in terms of riding experience should be better, and I have to build that way. So I have to conceptualize every possible ways, I have to look into the physics side of it, the engineering side of it, how I could address it. Is I have to do something with the suspension, something with the design, something with the appearance, or how am I going to address it? So this is where, so if you just stick to this thing, and then you will not be deviating from it, at least come up with a solution. That is why you have this whole exercise, that you move from one hypothesis, and then you say that you allow users to say that okay, once they validate, then you move to MVP, then you move to the actual product. So this is the place where there is no question of deviation. Deviation happens, that it means that still you are not sure about whether the problem is right. So find the problem first, and then work the way forward towards its solution.
Thank you for the explanation, sir. The next question coming is what is minimum viable product?
Mhm. Minimum viable product, when we say, uh, see, understand there is something called, like, let me take you to that diagram where I have discussed this. Mm, okay. Okay. So if we could follow, if you could follow from this screen, we have this thing of minimum viable product, proof of concept. So it is from moving from thought to action. So moving from, there is an idea, there you have identified a problem, you are trying to suggest some solution, then proof of concept, that whether you have identified the solution, is it the right solution, is it going to help, you are not sure, but yes, let's validate it, let's that this is the problem, this is the solution, do you think that it's the right solution? Then you, once you have validated it, you start getting into the phase of developing a prototype. And once your prototype, which is again which has to be tested, so as to come up with MVP, minimum viable product, right? So prototype is not the thing which you want to offer to your market. Prototype is something where you see that the concept is running in practice, in actuality. So, and then you move to this minimum viable product by testing the prototype with users, and if there are any discrepancies, you address it. So this prototype will turn out to be your MVP. So it transforms, it gets transforms into this MVP when you move in the right direction. So it is moving from developing a prototype to minimum viable product by testing it and taking feedback of multiple users, right? So something to do with problem solution fit, and then you go ahead with this product market fit, right? So
Thank you, sir. This last question is coming some sort of case study from Tata Nano.
right.
Was Tata Nano not market fit? What was the reason of not being super product?
Mhm. Right. See, understand, like, uh, yes, they have done their homework. There was a lot of appeal in the market, and we have discussed about feasibility, viability, right? So down the line, they what the initial data, if you talk about, like product market fit is about numbers also. So once they collect this data, they say that yes, we could see a lot of people are interested in booking Nano, and so that is, and once you become too optimistic about one set of data that this is what they are, this is the thing, and you continue with the same message, like message counts, how you are picturing your product, product how people feel, they people have this thing, this is a very human psychology which we have to address, that people will attach their own self image with ride and field. They have this kind of notion that I am riding something. People who have some branded brand, so it is coming from a respectable brand, but ultimately your message is making it laktakia, and you are not trying to, and once you understand the market it through some other way, we have to build it through some different way, we have to, there should be some other solution, then the story could have been better. It could be the way Ratan Tata actually thought of, right? So as I said, target customer, you, where was the target customer, who was the target customer? The target customer for Nano was that the people who could afford a bike but they could no longer afford a car. For them, you, that they own car, and that car is not just that nobody would call it like it is a tempo. It is just an it has a lot of things. So image is something which comes into picture. People tend to attach that thing with themselves. So who would like, right? And then there is some role of there were some data which actually resulted in creating this, that there were some certain accidents, like the Nano, the engine catching fire, uh, and see this thing, all the volume of it, even some incident, if those things will happen, what we call it like media, like if you talk about the safest mode of transportation could be aircraft, right? Safest mode, but people do not perceive it. Why they do not fail to perceive it? Why? Because if once or twice or maybe 5 years down the line, if you have one air accident, media reporting would be so much and people would be, oh my god, this is not kind of psychology. So even the news which is negative, which is just limited to few numbers, psychologically it would not be kept at that level. People would say that Nano is unsafe car, they will rate it. So those, ultimately you are not able to serve that market which was for which you have actually built a product. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very nice explanation from your side. Now, in moving towards to conclude this session, that was really a wonderful session from your side. I
Okay,
would
sir.
now like to request area coordinator of IIC SISTec-E, Dr. Ayush Srivastava, to present a vote of thanks to formally conclude this session.
Uh, Thank you so much, Pankaj sir, for giving me. First, I would like to thank our expert for accepting our request uh, and giving us such a knowledgeful, beautiful session for our students and our global viewers. I would like to thank to our respected dignitaries for the guidance and the blessing. And thanks to our audience for giving us such a valuable time and the support. I extended my thanks to Admin Manager, Mr. Mahesh Deveri sir, and the Pankaj sir and Professor Pankaj sir for handling such a beautiful event. And the graphic designer Akash Kosta sir, marketing associate Pankaj Mangtani sir, and from IT department Siddharth sir and Shi sir for their valuable support and making this event successful. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the
Thank
support.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Ayush. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.